Founded in 1930 at the height of the Depression, CRU is no stranger to conducting ministry through tough times, and that's precisely what last year required. But just as God enabled CRU to navigate through the Depression, World War II, Vietnam, and successive global financial crises, He's also proved unstoppable throughout COVID, taking hold of young hearts and minds on camps and in school groups, using CRU to train and equip students to go the distance in Christ, no matter what challenges they face.
During the time church and youth groups weren't allowed to meet due to COVID, many kids were still able to gather in their CRU group at school and be equipped to go the distance in their faith.
Going to CRU group really helps me grow in my faith and stay strong, and it's really nice to know that you have those other people there to support you and that you're not the only one.
I've actually been running the CRU group at North Cross for 6.5 years now. Probably started with a group of 5 to 10, and every week we have between 40 to 50. There's been plenty of students that have come along actually from a non-Christian background. There was a student that once at CRU group we said, please let us know if you don't have a Bible at home and if that's something you'd like. And a friend of his reluctantly came to me and said, I think he wants a Bible. And so we'd organised the Bible, we came and presented it together, and he just jumped for joy. And he carried that Bible around, came regularly to CRU, decided to become a leader, prayed out loud for the first time. And just today with a CRU visit, we've had his younger brother come along and start asking similar questions about God.
In God's perfect timing, Stage 1 of our Lake Mac campsite expansion was completed last year, with more campers than ever before encountering Christ.
The biggest thing I was worried about when I ever thought about faith was I was actually never going to live up to it. The leaders were such nice people, they were just absolute stars. They really just didn't force it down your throat, like they really gave you a chance to actually think. They were open to your opinion as well, which I found really valuable.
Yeah, there are so many kids that come on camps that don't know Jesus. When I chat with kids and I go, wow, like that is like some anti-Jesus vibes right there. And then by the end of the week, their opinions and their perspectives have changed. They've been challenged. For me, the biggest privilege is seeing them hear that for the first time genuinely and really just being like mind blown by the grace of God and the love of Jesus, and it just completely transforms their life.
I don't normally go to church on Sundays, but being here at CRU Camp this week has really helped me to understand Jesus and trust him more. I had a lot of questions about God and Jesus, and they all got answered here.
I'm the principal at Barara Christian School. 1979 was my first Crusader camp, and it was the first time anyone had actually explained the gospel to me, and then to be involved now as a teacher, just great.
I was on a camp a couple of weeks ago with some Year 9 boys, specifically 2 boys. Their names were Benji and Christian. They were in my discussion group and they both had some apprehensions around the science of the Bible and whether they could trust that Jesus was real. I was lucky enough to be a part of ironing out some of those things that they were a little bit unsure about, and by the end of the week they were convinced that Jesus was real, that they could trust the history of the Bible and that science didn't contradict anything that the Bible said, and they both became Christians.
When I was in Year 12, I came on a study camp, and initially I was pretty keen to ignore most of the Jesus stuff, but a couple of days in that became impossible, and I left camp actually wanting to know more. I went along to church with some friends from school. Towards the end of the year, I went along to schoolies, and I saw that this was a really big contrast compared to CRU camps, the loving community there that actually had something to live for, and schoolies which seemed completely empty. And it was there that I decided to stop resisting God's love and actually become a Christian. I'm now many years into leading CRU camps, and I completely love it. I love coming to camp, having a whole week to talk to people who have perhaps never heard about Jesus, being able to sit down face to face and ask people what they believe, what they're wrestling with, and tell them a little bit of the story about how God saved me and how they can have hope in him too.
God's saving work is unstoppable. Although COVID raised many challenges, through God's blessing and your partnership, kids are being drawn to Jesus in large numbers and being equipped to go the distance in their faith. I should know, I gave my life to Jesus on a Crusader camp, and so have countless others. For me, it was 42 years ago.
72 years ago.
68 years ago.
52 years ago.
39 years ago.
30 years ago.
16 years ago.
8 years ago.
3 years ago.
4 days ago.
Yesterday.
Please join us. Together we can reach young people with the good news of Jesus and equip them to go the distance.